Hello, Mr. Manuelliam. I'm not gonna lie. I've put too much effort into this joke to back out now, so I am committed. Oh god, it was such a pain setting up the audio. But here I am. I'm sending you this missive. And I do expect a response in video essay format from your own YouTube channel that you will surely create after this. Ugh. Let's see. But yeah, I've been trying to get better at drawing landscapes and architecture. It's my rolling New Year's resolution from last year, and it shall continue until I get better at drawing. I think I'm okay with how this one turned out. I was like, not bad, but very different from what I had in my head. Unfortunately, I'm not like Jenna with the Cube Spinner 2000 at all times. I'd say I have like a Cube Turner 500 at best. Oh, I finished watching the fifth and sixth seasons of My Hero the other day while finishing the sewing on this jacket. I don't know, I think it was like it was simultaneously better and worse than what I thought it was going to be, which is honestly kind of in and of itself impressive for a piece of media to achieve. If YouTube picks up this video and it reaches the My Hero fans, I will be burned at the stake, but you know. I don't know if you ever finished watching them, because like I feel like the conclusion I got to was that like the more I liked My Hero the most when it is like Worm, and I like Worm the most when it is like My Hero. So if I just squish them together into this crossover fanfiction, then I can have my perfect superhero media. But until then, like, I think cause like, I don't know if it's just because I think I watched like part of season 5 already with Soup, but I just like tried to rewatch it, and then like the first half of season 5 was so aggressively boring to me, because like, you know, they're doing their whole class 1A versus class 1B. Oh my god, I have to fill 10 minutes of this. Okay, you're going to hear a lot of rambling. But yeah, like because it's just class 1A versus class 1B, and it's like, on one hand, I wouldn't even call it bad writing, because it makes sense. It's nice to see, like, get these character intros, see what everyone's capable of, see how they've improved. I do really like how the people who participated in the overhaul shenanigan disaster are like sort of like palpably more traumatized and like more serious about their work versus everyone else in class who is like, you know, still kind of, you know, a high schooler. But at the end of the day, I just could not get away from the fact that like this is a very fancy and high-tech equivalent, but it is fundamentally at the end of the day just like one assignment in high school that you're like the worst thing that's going to happen to these kids is they get a bad grade, you know. And then like smash cut to the adults doing actual like, you know, cool adult stuff that like actually has stakes. And I don't know, the beginning of the season just did not work for me, especially since it was like, God, I want to say it was like 8 episodes or something of just like that single class simulation, and it's just like, I don't care that much about this. The animation's cool, but it's not that cool. But you know, I assume if I were more invested in the characters, it'd be like really good though, so it's not, you can take it or leave it, you know. And then like, but like the end of season 5 really worked for me, as it like briefly turned from My Hero Academia to My Villain Academia, with like Shigaraki doing all of his like villain bullshit, and it's like, to me that was like a little tiny bit of like what I liked about Worm showing up in My Hero, of like the sense of like, this is a world with factions in it and everyone's like genuinely fighting for power and like recognition in a way that is like, I guess I just like watching characters play their little war games. I do think that like the thing that I understand why they do it. It's an anime, and like that's just part of the style and the medium, but it does irritate me when people keep on explaining the way their powers work, and it's just like, don't tell them that. You shouldn't tell them that. That's bad strategy. I remember frequently that like one of the first things a character in Worm does, I believe it's Brian, and like one of the first things, like the way we are introduced to this character is that like one of the main character is fighting him, and she has an incorrect understanding of how his power works, because in-universe, he has gone ahead and gone to the in-universe Parahumans wiki and edited the description of his power so that it is incorrect. And like, that's like, I've always loved that, of like, yeah, that's a smart thing to do. You should do that, actually, if you exist in a world where there's a wiki for, like, what everyone's powers are. That just makes strategic sense. And then over here in My Hero, there's this, like, the fucking carbonated water villain or whatever the fuck, who's like, yeah, my power is based on carbonation. And it's like, first of all, that's lame. Second of all, don't tell them that. I would have believed you if you were just like, if you just said you had like a water quirk or something. And stuff like Spider-Man, he figures out the villain's powers through like observation, not because they announced it to him, you know? Like, it's a stylistic difference, but it kind of, I think if you want to maintain the stakes of like trying to use like, the way Midori usually fights is through intellect, and like if you want him to actually do that, then like, you know, he's got to figure stuff out by being smart and stuff, you know, like, and I think like, again, like towards the end of season 6, where there's that moment where Aizawa gets shot with the quirk erasing bullet, and he just cuts his fucking leg off to stop that from taking effect. I think like, again, that is like, to me, that is like very like Worm fighting. That's the stupidest thing I've ever said, but like, it is less about the like flashiness, or like, it's not like Ruby's style of fighting where the beauty is in just how gorgeous the choreography is, but rather just like making split-second decisions with huge impacts, because that's what you need to do right now, because otherwise if we lose his quirk, we're fucked. And that was what I found appealing about Worm, even though it has a lot of issues, but and like for a brief moment My Hero had it too, of just like, I think that's what makes an interesting fight scene to me, other than, you know, just from pure visuals. And for, I wish the rest of My Hero was more like that. I also, like, I think season 6 ending on, like, you know, the Ruby Volume 3 thing of, like, everything is, like, kind of collapsed outside is, like, I really like the direction, like that vibe, but I don't know, I feel like we don't see very much of what Midori actually gets up to out in like the lawless wasteland that Japan has become, and like, it just doesn't, I don't think it hits as hard as it should. And also, I think the thing I'm having trouble putting my finger on, but just like, something about the way the civilians react is like not unrealistic. I do believe that people would be stupid like that, you know? But like, it is simultaneously not unrealistic, but also doesn't convince me that this is like the way people would react. Like, I don't know, there's a part of me that's just like, that's stupid every time a civilian does something that's really stupid, even though it's like, I can accept that, like, yeah, people would react like that in real life if they were, you know, if their lives were appended. I also think that the civilian, like, low-key, the League of Villains and the civilians, like, they have a point. Like, the hero system is very clearly, like, not working, and, like, took us directly into this burning trash fire, just by following its natural trajectory. That, like, but I don't know if the author thinks that. And so I don't really trust that the writing will be good. Oh, I am at 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I await your response through video essay format, Mr. Manuelliam. Tell me what your thoughts on My Hero are, I guess. Till next time.